Hello, hello, name's Alan, welcome back to the channel, thank you very much for watching. Today we're going to be playing yet another special build, i.e. we're going to be starting things off with two starter relics, the second of which is going to be a cursed starter relic, a run modifier if you want to call them that, from outside of the game. That means you can only pick up to one of these in the lobby before actually starting a run. They only work in Chaos Trials, not in Boss Rush, nor in PvP. You cannot under any circumstances find any of these items inside of the actual game, even in a looped run you cannot. You may not. You may only pick one of them because all the other ones vanish immediately once you decide to purchase, well, any one of them. And you cannot properly reset them, much to the demise of the player base. It's quite annoying, as you will see in a second here. Without further ado, I'd say let's get right into it, shall we? Today's build is called Infinite Supply, in which the build idea is we're going to be cosplaying as a thief, starting things off with the default Wizard of Legend build in terms of Arcana. We are of course going to be running a customized build here other than that, so we're going to have a different robe, a different starter relic, and of course a second starter relic, which is also not the default, very much not at all in fact. I'd say let's get right into the build. For our rope, we're going to be running the Shift Rope, which, in my opinion, resembles a Thieves outfit pretty darn well. I'd say the only one doing a better job at this is probably the Venture Robe, as this just looks very devious and illicit, dare I say, which I like a lot. It looks pretty damn nifty. Shift is a lot more colorful, arguably so, but we're going to be running this not because of the appearance, but more so because of the stat. Or more so the stats these actually grants us, because we're going to be using both of these. Ideally, it increases our evade chance by 10%, which is fantastic. That's what we absolutely are looking for with this build, as well as our critical strike chance by 5%, which is nice because we at least are going to be running one high damage, very high power ability, and just slightly increasing the crit chance, so it crits every so often for like 20 plus extra damage is very valuable. Very valuable. Even though it's just 5% on a base level here, this can stack up very quickly and it gains a lot of value over the course of a run. If, or assuming that you already run abilities that are very high power, that have very high base damage. As I mentioned, we do have at least one of them, right, from the very get-go. So we like seeing the crit chance as well, but more so, most importantly, we are going to be running the Shift Rope here for the evade chance, which also stacks up to need, I believe it's 15%, or is it 17.5% or something? I don't know, I barely ever run this rope. I've run it like 4 times over the course of my entire Wizard of Legend career, quote-unquote, so far, so I don't exactly know the rope upgrade. All I know is it's definitely going to be worth it. We love evade chance, and this is the only rope granting you a sufficient amount, i.e. more than 5% evade chance. The other choice here would have been Patience Rope, which increases a bunch of stats, but only grants you a 5% increased evasion chance, which is not nearly as much. This is in fact twice as much, and the upgrade is gonna be much better than the Patience Rope, as well as the Patience Rope upgrade, which only goes up to a maximum of 7.5% increased evasion, so this is already more than an upgraded Patience Rope. Fantastic. For our starter relic, on the other hand, we're going to be running some utility, i.e. miscellaneous item, which is, oh, it's right here, it's the supply crate, of course, one of the name donators of this build. The relic in Arcana stores instantly restock after a purchase. Health potions are in short supply and are not restocked, but who really gives a crap about health potions anyway? Who needs 2 health potions every stage? They decline in quality every time you use one of them either way, and only the first one that you ever use over the course of your run is really going to be worth it for 200 health healed on a default 500 max HP build. Every consecutive health potion is just so degraded in quality. At some point, they just entirely lose all of their value. I would never spend more than like 20 bucks on a health pon at that point. What we care about, on the other hand, here, since we are cosplaying as a thief, is the Relic and Arcana stores instantly restock after a purchase. So we are not exactly purchasing things, we are stealing them. And since stealing isn't exactly a mechanic in this game, I can orient myself here a little bit around Enter the Gungeon, where you can actually steal from the shopkeeper, and they get very mad, or he gets very mad, rather the main shopkeeper, when you steal too often, because they start noticing, they start being growing suspicious of you, and then like threatening you, shooting you eventually if you don't end up stopping to steal or stopping to threaten their supplies. So what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be sort of emulating that, dressing up as a thief, starting off with the default build, trying to steal our way to victory and to a great, fantastic run. We're going to be stealing both Arcana and Relics here. We are going to be wanting both due to our second Relic, which we will get to in a second here. Let's continue in traditional order. Anywho, so Supply Crate is just the perfect fit for this build, and I do like it a lot. It's incredibly overpowered when you come across this in a regular run. I believe it costs 25 or maybe 50 gold. It's always worth buying this when you have sufficient money, and additionally, this stacks with very good other ship-related items like the raffle ticket, or the Arcana rewards card, or the Relic reward card. Like, this thing can get out of hand incredibly quickly, and it has very high potential to escalate a run to certain levels. If you find one of the... oh man, I can't think of the name right now. The gemstone... I can't remember. The items that allow you to pay for items that you don't have sufficient gold for, whether it be Relics or Arcana, with either gems or your health bar. If you get any one of them, or both of them in fact, and then combine like the health bar one with the revive item, you can just go nuts with this. If you can reduce the cost of everything to like 10 gold or something, Supply Crate is entirely nuts, and it gets out of hand incredibly fast. And that's what we are aiming for. We won't necessarily have a guarantee that this is going to escalate, because this is a special run. After all, it's not going to be a regular run. In a regular run, I would absolutely have a guarantee that this escalates near every single time. But we're not having a special run, so swiftly move on to the standard builds. The default Wizard of Legend tutorial build, in case you've never seen this before. It is very balanced. It's a very mediocre build with a lot of strengths, but even more weaknesses, I'd say, and some very odd Arcana choices here for a starter build, in my opinion. Let's start things off with the basic. It's going to be Wind Slash, easily one of the hardest to use, not necessarily the worst, but one of the hardest to use, the most clunky basic abilities in this game. And it is quite literally the most basic ability you can imagine. You are literally hitting with your fist, like in front of your character. This is a very short range, short width, just clunky to use, but rather high damage for what it does. Melee, piercing, basic Arcana. I know that was a lot of words, let's just take a look at it. 3 hits as per usual, third one deals slightly more damage. It deals 8, 10, 12, so every consecutive hit deals slightly extra damage. It also generates a bit of signature, but considering that I'm hitting 4 targets here, it doesn't generate nearly as much as it probably should. It's just so short-sighted. I'm really not a big fan of it. I think the damage is fantastic, especially when enhanced, because then not only do you slash once with every single hit or slash, or whatever you want to call these, but instead there are 3 slashes, which is fantastic. That's so much more damage, so much more coverage, and it feels very, very good, but only when enhanced, so I strongly recommend do not run the base version. It is melee, and it's a basic, so it goes very well with items like Dark Katana, like Candies, like Arcana, such as Fueled Berserk, or Calming Flow, or similar Arcana. Lightning Aspect is another one that comes to mind, but generally speaking, since it deals okay damage, but since it is so difficult actually applying this to rooms full of enemies, to try and crowd control them, to even hit just a larger group of enemies, or finish them individually, like, whatever you want to use this for, it's not very good, and there are many way better options. This is very mediocre, and range-wise, it is the most obnoxious, atrocious ability in the entirety of the game, I'd say. Easily the worst in terms of range, in terms of versatility. It's just so tough using it. Moving on to our dash. It's another wind-themed Wind Arcana, it's going to be Air Burst. Again, a very default type of ability. Very boring to look at, not exciting at all to use, just gets the job done, and there are plenty of options that do a way better job and that are way more versatile. Very similar to a Wind Slash here, easily one of the better wind abilities actually, which is kind of sad. I'm just not a huge fan of wind. I really despise it. In fact, I think most wind abilities should just be cropped out of the game. I kind of hate the fact that this is even an element, or that the way rather that these abilities are designed, they're just so underwhelming. So you dash into direction, and with you a boost of wind, a burst of air, as it says here, knocks back foes into the direction that you traveled into. So it's just an extended dash with a little bit of width and a knockback effect essentially, or you draw enemies in with this. Like so. Deals okay damage, surprisingly a lot of damage for a wind ability and a wind dash at that. It's very easy to use. When enhanced, this area of effect just grows a lot larger. It essentially becomes a dumped down dash version of Airborne Slam, which is fantastic. Actually, that's really not that bad, and it will slow enemies hit, similarly to the Airborne Slam, which is really not that bad. But considering that you are knocking them essentially into you or drawing them towards you, the slow is not going to do too much to them. Realistically speaking, like, you're not going to just walk out of it. Typically, very fast enemies can still hit you. Enemies that are resistant to these slow stairs effect, like wind elemental enemies, are still gonna pose an issue. So not the greatest of upgrades, doesn't exactly increase the damage dealt, but it makes it a little more reliable in terms of versatility, in terms of utility, in terms of slowing enemies down, so crowd control I suppose, and just being able to more easily pick up a larger group of enemies. You won't have to group them up in this sort of way to gain a lot of value out of it. At that point you can probably just dash right through them, try and hit everything left and right of you, and just slow them down and walk out of it and regroup them up. But I've never really played with this a lot, so I'm not a big fan of this one. I don't think it's super useful or anything, especially into bosses. This just deals very measly, meager damage, I'd even say. It is a melee ability, it's a movement ability, it's a dash. So again, there are plenty of ways to enhance it. Dark Katana is just one that comes to mind, or the just generally items like the soccer cleats, for example, which increase the damage that movement-based abilities do. It's a dash with charges, one charge by default, so you can put a bunch of charges on it as well, with the chest ring and many other things. It can be enhanced, don't get me wrong, but even when enhanced, it's one of the weaker dashes. It just does everything that it does a lot worse than, say, Frostwing, for example, one of my favorite dashes in this game, which also deals a very high amount of damage, has a huge coverage of just the entirety of a room span, essentially. The enhancement is a lot more powerful of that ability in comparison to the enhancement of this dash right here, Mr. Airburst. And the crowd control is a lot better due to it also freezing enemies, not just hitting them for a bunch of damage, but also freezing them, which keeps them literally stuck in place for a short period of time, even larger enemies. Certain larger enemies, anyway. So in that, it's just a lot more powerful than Airborne, no, what's it called? Airburst, sorry, I forgot again. It's basically just Airborne Slam the dash, right? So, not very powerful. Slow, generally, I wouldn't say is very powerful. Also, Frostwing is a projectile, not a melee ability, so it can be enhanced even more easily, can be connected even more easily. It has more use cases where it's useful, just much more coverage. Not just in the width, in the length, but also overall, because it's a projectile, right? It's a lot easier to hit. I can use it in more circumstances. In this game, you tend to use your dash a lot during boss fights, for example, and a melee dash, assuming that you're not very close to the boss, is not gonna connect to the target if you just have to dash in the moment, or at the very moment that we are looking at, that we are taking into perspective right now, because you just happen to otherwise be mispositioned and be potentially hit by an attack. You have to just dash out of the way, so you just, boom, you just wasted a dash. You just wasted a bunch of damage. There you go. A Frostwing, for example, projectile is not really gonna be affected by that trouble because it's a Frost, so a projectile with a lot of range, and it might wind up actually connecting to the boss, so you're not effectively wasting damage a lot of the time. So let me just take a sip real quick. It's very hot in here. Summer is coming quick, let me tell you. Nothing better than a bit of lemonade, I love it. Let's move on though. To just summarize these two abilities, both melee abilities, both wind abilities, not very good damage-wise, not very good utility or versatility-wise, and the enhancements in either case are not particularly powerful. Sure, you might argue Wind Slash is a fantastic enhancement, also damage-wise, but again, coverage-wise, crowd control-wise, I would hold against that. Just swap it for a much better ability with a lot more coverage on it, whether it be range or width or length. Even when enhanced, it's not super powerful when compared to a lot of other basic Arcana enhancements. Look at the Chaos ones, for example, but of course those contain extreme examples like Chaos Crusher or the Scythe. Just look no further than other charged abilities like the Flame Charge basic Arcana, for example. Flame Strike, I believe it's called. I can't really think of its name right now. Those are just a lot more powerful, and they grant you projectile destruction partially as well on top of all of that, or status effects, which this one doesn't even do. It just deals mediocre damage, which can be very good, can be what you're looking for. It can definitely fit a certain type of build or theme, but for what we are going to be doing today, it's just not very powerful. I am hassling around a lot here, explaining the default tutorial build, even though I really don't have to. It's not a very well put together build after all. It's just a bunch of abilities, some of which are kind of weird picks for a very new beginner, let's put it that way. Like Wind Slash, for example, is not easy to hit at all. It just has so many disadvantages to it. I'm not sure why this is in the tutorial board. Yes, it makes sense, it's like incredibly basic, but on the other hand, it's so beginner unfriendly. I would have never assembled this, to be honest. Dash is fine. Let's move on to the standard here though, which is going to be Fire, our first projectile. Dragon Arc, another very weird choice. I think this is incredibly difficult to use to a new player, to potentially a player that has never held a controller, mouse, or keyboard in their life, who can't even aim for shit. This is just so difficult to hit and so clunky to use. So you have 8 charges on this ability by default. Every single charge shoots one dragon, either from the right or left side. They are alternating. And when enhanced, it shoots dragons per charge from both sides, so it effectively doubles the damage dealt. These dragons can be redirected while shooting, which I would strongly recommend against, because it's just so difficult getting any value out of that. Especially on a controller, especially when you're not using a joystick. Strongly recommend you to not do that. Just try to shoot all of them every single time you shoot into the same target. When you try to break free from the ability, all of the other charges are essentially wasted. You shoot the charges very quickly, you just use them up incredibly quickly, but they also have a collective, rather short cooldown. When enhanced, you also get slightly more charges. I believe it's 10 or 12, I'm not that sure. It doesn't make a huge difference DPS-wise. Now, these are projectiles with a rather long range, but they move very, very slowly. So they are very difficult to hit, trying to be used as a long-range type of projectile, say against a boss. You're very likely to miss the vast majority of them, if even connect any, and therefore it's really not worth it using them as a long-range type of poking projectile, for example. However, they do pierce, so I can easily hit all of these enemies. Like so, they deal very decent damage and gain me a lot of signature charge. Just look at that, hitting 4 targets. Yep, that is a lot, my friend. They have a very short cooldown, so cooldown reduction is gonna be your best friend when using this. And of course, combine that with a bunch of signature charge and abilities to clump enemies up, not spread them apart, but clump them up so you can just abuse the hell out of the signature gain, and you should be absolutely golden to go. Damage-wise, nothing wild at all. Even when enhanced, absolutely nothing wild. It just deals okay damage. I would strongly recommend to be very close to enemies, not try to be too far away. Just make sure that you can actually connect most, if not all, of these dragons to your target. Since it's fire ability, that means the damage can be enhanced even more easily. Just get extra base damage and this ability suddenly becomes very good. It goes from okay or meh to decent to very good, ultimately. Just a bunch of cooldown reduction, crit chance, and higher base damage, and voila! There you go. Fantastic wave clearing ability, but also single target kill, potentially even if you put like a slow stats effect on it, for example, a long range projectile type of poking ability, or long range crowd control damage ability, whatever you want to call it. It could be anything you really want to. Since it's also a dragon ability, that means a dragon fall can consume this, and it will consume it on use. So, in case you didn't know, Dragonfall is a Chaos Arcana that consumes all dragon abilities that you're currently carrying that are not signatures, and every time from that point going forward that you use Dragonfall, it will use all of the consumed abilities at once as well, which is fantastic. Let's move on to our easily the best ability in this kit, the signature, Exploding Fireball. I talk about this one a lot. I reference it in every single build. This is easily one of the most busted, easy to use, straightforward, overpowered abilities in the game. You just throw a massive ball of fire with a massive hitbox, huge knockback, huge base damage of 50. So make this crit and you get 75 damage right away. And when used as a signature, you throw 3 of these as your signature for 150 base damage. That is the very base of the best signatures in this game. The best abilities, period. Looks like so. Also has a very long range, ginormous in fact, and a tiny cooldown. As tiny as an Asian penis. Yes, insensitive jokes are welcome on this channel. Very good. When enhanced, increases the blast radius. We don't really care about that. It is easily our signature pick. Thank God this is actually in the tutorial build. This is one that I can very much relate to. It's simplicity-wise, it is as simple as the 2-liner here, a massive fireball that explodes on impact. It is as simple as Wind Slash in that, which is 1-liner. Oh my. It's very easy to grasp, very easy to use, and I can even use it here and still hit multiple targets. It's so massive. You can never miss this under any circumstances. What you can do is miscalculate the width of its hitbox and take it as a lot thinner, a lot more narrow than it actually is. So say you're trying to shoot through these two, that's unfortunately not going to be possible, but you're going to hit everyone around it. So there you go, I suppose. Also fire, also projectile. So again, easily enhanceable with items like Analytical Monocle. I much prefer projectiles as they're just a lot more versatile. They happen to be a lot more versatile. Being able to use something at long range, generally speaking, is more useful than having like crowd control medium range abilities, as there are only a handful of them that lock you in, where you don't have a lot of space to move around and shoot a projectile from. And projectiles, due to their longer range, naturally are going to be a lot more useful when poking down bosses or when trying to rush them while they are attacking you. I just like them a whole lot better. Exploding Fireball is one that I mention almost every single time I make a build, as this enhances literally every single build out there. Whether you need knockback, so utility, or crowd control with the massive explosion plus knockback combination, or kill potential, this has got your back, absolutely. Whether you need extra damage, this immediately gives you a massive damage boost, or just a boss killer, a long range type of baiting ability, whatever it is you need, this thing can get it done. So, with all those things out of the way, let's get into the second starter relic of the day, shall we? Now, we may have to do a little bit of digging here, and indeed we will. Okay, 2 attempts. Three attempts. Of course I could be pausing all this and resuming when I'm actually done, but I want to take you along my journey, my pain, my suffering. 4 attempts. 5 attempts. I'm seeing a lot of purple in there. Pendulums and flasks. Okay, let's start. Let's actually stop counting from here. I wanna seize it. Just enjoy the silence. Think about our actions. Regret. Oh my god, come on, you guys. I'll give it a maximum of 10. Come on, come on. Better be nice. Come on, or at least that's a bunch of new stuff. 3 new ones, I believe. Oh, come on. We are getting close, though. We are getting very close. I can feel it. I swear, whoever decided to not include a restock or like a reset system in this, it's just, man, it's such a bad decision. Like, I get it, partially with these basic shops when you're new to the game, but even there, it would be quite useful to have a restock or a reset option. It's so annoying having to do this. And then, of course, I don't spawn at the closer TP, but at the spawn teleporter. Oh, come on. Maybe I should equip a starter item that makes me slightly faster. Nope, we got it. Rulebook of Thieves. That's what we were looking for. We're a good thief. We like theft. All relics in Arcana are heavily discounted. Relics and Arcana. Keep that in mind. Chance to lose an Arcana or Relic when taking damage. Entirely random. So what might happen here is we might just lose our Dragon Arc right away, or we might lose our Supply Crate right away. It's kind of luck-based. You really don't want to take damage early on, because once the Supply Crate is gone, it's gone. It won't be dropped on the floor. It will be discarded entirely. It will vanish, and you can find another one. Just go fetch. Try and get another one anyway. So in the very beginning, it's pure luck whether you lose Dragon Arc or Supply Crate first, and you really want to avoid being hit. But we will get to that right now. In this section, what's it called again? I kind of lost my script here. I kind of lost track a little bit. Right, recommended playstyle. Thank you, David. Thanks for picking things back up. Recommended playstyle. Now, you want to be incredibly defensive, especially early on. Supply Crate can be incredibly overpowered with the Rulebook, but the second you lose it, you're kind of screwed. You can still assemble a build very, very quickly, thanks to the Rulebook, but you gotta always keep in mind that Supply Crate just makes everything that much easier. If you actually get to first, or say, give it a benefit of the doubt, say you don't have a lot of money or a lot of good relics there, or a lot of luck there, say you'll get to the second shop, so 1-2, green shop, you can not only purchase pretty much everything there right away, because the cost reduction from Rulebook is massive, but also you can probably gain 12 items, so the maximum of your inventory, you can just fill up your entire inventory right away, potentially also finding the other parts of the Supply Crate combination item, like the Arcana Rewards card, for example, or the Relic Rewards card, with which all items receive another decrease to their cost, which would be absolutely brain dead insane. So the potential here is massive, but also the risk is very high. You are guaranteed to lose either a standard, and you only have one at the very beginning, or a relic, and you only have one at the very beginning here, being the Supply Crate. So you really need to avoid being hit. You really want to get to that first green shop, and then just buy as much shit as you humanly can to avoid dropping the Supply Crate by accident when you're hit. Rulebook procs very often, from my experience playing with it. I only played a couple of runs, but I felt like it would just happen all the time. Especially early on, you can get hit like 3 times by very tiny hits, doesn't matter really how large the hit, that's what it felt like anyway, and you're pretty much guaranteed to lose something right away. So losing something in either case is a huge loss to your overall DPS and your run winning capabilities. Supply Crate obviously affecting you a whole hell of a lot harder, because you're not going to be able to buy as many items over the course of your run, and as good assemble as good of a build as you otherwise would have been. But also, Dragon Arc is a pretty bad loss, because it means you're losing out on a ton of DPS, on a ton of crowd control that you really cannot afford losing early on, because the more crowd control you lose, the more damage you're gonna take eventually, because you still have to wait for the cooldowns of your other abilities. Let's move on to the next section here though. That being said, just be as defensive as humanly possible. You need a lot of good stuff to try to mitigate the effect of Rulebook, try to reduce the likeliness of your supply crate going to waste, or even your best Arcana going to waste. You can achieve that by either buying a shitload of Arcana, which you can only carry 3 extra ones, right? 2 extra ones that you can actually use, and 1 in your backpack, so to speak. So get to either of the shops, whether it be pink or green, and then just buy it empty, keep getting stuff, try to not lose supply crate, maybe even drop it on the floor, right? As soon as you get there, just drop it. Or drop it right the very second you start your run, so you cannot lose it under any circumstances. Instead, trade your Arcana, and then pick it back up when you actually need it. You really do not want to use this, I cannot stress this enough. So that brings us to the next section here. Potential issues, potential problems, risks, etc. There are a lot of them. Again, you do not want to lose this. And then later on during your run, if you were to find really strong abilities, and you have a very terrible build for whatever reason, say your damage is pathetic, you haven't found a very good knock shop over the course of your run, and you just have found a bunch of utility related items, not even a lot of defense or things to keep you alive, to out-sustain a boss during a boss fight, or to kill them faster, just nothing like that, for whatever ungodly reason. It's very unlikely, but it might happen. But you find yourself some very strong abilities, something like a Ball Climber, an Exploding Fireball, which we already got, or similar abilities that are just incredibly versatile, very high damage, high power, base damage, mind you. Keep that in mind. Base damage means that you're not going to need nearly as many items to make this a good ability. It's pretty much a good ability the second you pick it up, or the second you find it, rather. Say if you were to find yourself in that position and you really needed that ability, keep in mind that it's not going to be a signature, it's going to be a standard, and therefore you can actually lose it. So from that point going forward, you're going to have to be a lot more careful about your approach to the run. Generally speaking, you want to be very defensive, and only when you can get cocky and you can be very aggressive. But generally speaking, you can pretty much never be aggressive. Until you get to a point where you can just afford a million items and abilities, and you don't really care for the loss of either. Say you get a bunch of cursed items, as those cannot be discarded under any circumstances, they can't be lost either. So Rulebook cannot discard itself at some point, it cannot discard a double trouble, for example. So I strongly recommend not only investing into all sorts of items and abilities, but holding them temporarily, so your good stuff doesn't get dropped, whether it be respectively Arcana or certain relics, and then dropping them, swapping them, exchanging them for curse relics. The more curse relics you carry, because they cannot even be selected for the rulebook effect, the more likely it becomes that certain things, for example your supply crate or your dragon arc, are going to be dropped eventually. So you have to find a bit of a balance there, but I think this is a very easy task to handle. There isn't a lot of wiggle room there, I don't think. In terms of potential strategy, I think you just cram everything you can afford into your inventory or into your inventories as early on as humanly possible, and then exchange all that good stuff later, or exchange all the crappy stuff for good stuff later. And then, do you at that point really care about losing a supply crate? I don't think so. Just don't lose it early on. Keep in mind you can drop it at any given time and pick it back up whenever you need it, as this is not a cursed relic. Also keep in mind that if you were to actually lose it, it's not that huge of a deal. If you can find it, it's not a super expensive item, it's one of the cheapest in the game. I believe it costs 25 or 50 without the rulebook. Probably just 10 gold with the rulebook, which is nothing at all. So yeah, there's that. Let's move on though to bosses. Haven't talked about those yet in terms of potential problems here, or dungeons rather. I feel like the fire dungeon might pose a huge issue. We are running a wind/fire build, so we are very ineffective there. We don't deal a lot of damage, we don't affect enemies with status effects. Mind you that we don't even have any status effects here right out of the gates, except potentially later on our dash airburst. So fire is a bit risky. It's also a bit risky dodging the traps there, dodging the elemental rogues and rangers sometimes as well. Not a huge fan of fire. Zeal also isn't the easiest boss to consistently dodge because of the Comet attack, the signature, but also because she is rather fast. I'd say potentially Thunder can also be an issue, or Poison, so Earth and Lightning Dungeon respectively, but overall, probably Fire is the one that you'd like to avoid. You really don't want to see a Zeal on Stage 3. Stage 2 is handleable, but Stage 3 can be very difficult. You need a lot of damage to compensate for your lack of effectiveness against the fire element overall. Or you need just an entire set of new abilities, but keep in mind that you can't exchange your signature. So that is the very baseline of your build that's always going to remain, no matter what. While you can exchange your dash, while you can exchange your basic, and you absolutely should, as we discussed earlier, you cannot get rid of Exploding Fireball. Not that I would ever want to, but well, I can't. Even if I did want to, I couldn't. So, I suppose we're going to try and avoid fire. I don't think wind is going to be a huge issue at hand. I don't think lightning is going to be too hard. Earth might be. My wind abilities are not very strong, and you can't get too close to Earthen Knights, for example, or Earthen Rangers, otherwise they will root you, or sort of a earth block slash ice block you. I don't think our projectiles are going to be very helpful there either. Reflecting and exploding fireball back into my face isn't exactly one of my favorite things in this game. Same for a Dragon Arc. Even just a single Dragon Arc can be quite annoying or stun lock you when it just swings back at you. Your own ability's coming back at you. But especially an exploding fireball is going to be incredibly painful. You definitely want to avoid that at any cost. So Earth could also be a bit of a troublemaker. Also due to the poison status effect, which lasts very long, ticks very often, and or relatively often compared to Shock, it's not really all that often. Therefore can probably get rid of a bunch of your stuff due to the Rulebook of Thieves, but I digress. So let's move on to my final section, the final section before actually getting into a run here, which is going to be recommended items and Arcana. Let's start things off with the Arcana, as this is a very simple section. Just grab any overpowered crap that you can get a hold of. You are a thief after all, you just want the good shit. You don't want any useless abilities, except very early on, to mitigate potential losses. Just grab a Bolt Climber, Exploding Fireball. Again, you already got that one, so take that off the box. That's very nice. Thank you, tutorial. Permafrost Bulwark as a versatility option for both utility, for both defense and damage, rather. And then iframe enhancements, which are also usually, generally speaking, both for defense and offense. Most are offense usually, but in certain select cases also defensively very valuable. Just grab the most overpowered abilities. You know, the same kind of, I just always mention, I've mentioned them a million times by now because they're just so busted and universally usable. I'd say even a Fueled Berserk can be very valuable here, considering that generally speaking it would cost, what, like 175 to 200 gold, but here it's gonna be dirt cheap and it synergizes very well with any given basic. Pretty much it doesn't really matter what kind of basic you combine with it. Of course there are a few indifferences there between abilities, but generally speaking it's gonna be very impactful on your build. Same for an Evading Zephyr, for example, and the likes. Wind Sentry is another one that comes to mind. There are just so many good abilities in this game, and you just need to find 2, maybe 3 of them. Don't invest too heavily on that forefront because you're likely to lose at least one of your abilities, more likely probably 2 over the course of your run. I am understating here how frequently you can actually end up losing stuff. So don't invest too heavily into very high power Arcana because you're gonna feel very let down when you inevitably lose any of them. But that brings us to the items here. You can do a lot on that front. Signature is fantastic with the Exploding Fireball and your Dragon Arc right out of the gates, and it doesn't really diminish in value. Your signature is always gonna stick with you, which is fantastic. It's incredibly overpowered as well. It's essentially free cooldown reduction. Speaking of which, cooldown reduction is also fantastic, though not super duper necessary. Signature charge gain is just much more powerful than cooldown reduction, as it is just the big brother of cooldown reduction. It is essentially free cooldown reduction because you get an immediate reset on the ability, and it becomes a lot more powerful. triple the power on a base level here, not including critical strikes. Just with the base critical strikes, I would deal at least 4 times the damage of a regular fireball, which is insane. And I can just keep doing that over and over again if I get enough cooldown reduction / signature charge gain, which is incredible. So signature charge is going to be your best friend, cooldown reduction probably your second best friend, and then base damage increases are very powerful because it already deals a huge amount of damage, so percentage based increases are going to be very powerful, and additionally extra crit chance would not harm you, though we got the Robe for that, so shouldn't really have to worry about that too much. 5% increased crit chance is more than enough this early on. That's definitely going to guarantee a bunch of crits every now and then, especially during boss fights. You're pretty much guaranteed to come across the occasional crit, which is fantastic. So, all those things having been said, I don't think you're going to have to rely on skill here too much, since this build is opted to be rather easily playable. When you exclude the fact, or when you take note of the fact that this isn't the easiest build to play right away. Tutorial build just is very mediocre, doesn't do anything particularly well except the Exploding Fireball, which of course does everything particularly well, but all the other abilities, whenever this is on cooldown, are gonna be used, or gonna have to be used rather, and so you have to be comfortable with these very clunky, meh type of abilities. So it definitely happens a lot early on, that you say you enter a trap room, you enter a room that quite literally traps you in it, or a room with a bunch of traps. I suppose the meaning trap room is ambiguous in this case, but it doesn't really matter here. Or you fall into a pit, and boom, you proc the Rulebook, and you just lost your Dragon Arc forever. There you go, it just happens a lot more often than you would think, so don't be overconfident, just drop the supply crane, you should be absolutely golden, but other than that, I don't think you're gonna be running into too much trouble here. Let's try and dodge Zeal if we can. Okay, no, Thundering Keep multiple times. Okay, it's not one of those days where this is just completely stuck. Dungeons! Oh, I would love to play those. But I'm gonna have to deal with a fire dungeon. I could also run Wind, as I got an advantage there, innately. So it's gonna be a lot easier to finish the dungeon, actually get to the shops, than in the fire dungeon. But I don't think I really care about that a lot, so let's try and stick with Zeal here. I really don't want to fight her as my final target. Check whether we forgot anything. No, we did not. So let's get right into it, shall we? Zeal, Freya, Thunder Twins. Very interesting combination. I love it. Love these elemental icons. They are just pure joy to look at. And that's the first trap room. Not the most trivial one. Just use Fireball, as it is pretty much instantaneous and does very well even at melee range. Okay, same here. We can kill one of them, and then kill the other one by dropping him. Do I want to pick that sprite up right now, or would I prefer losing Dragon Arc? Probably would prefer losing the sprite over the Dragon Arc, even though sprite is gonna be effective, as it is of the water element on this stage and against the boss. Oh yeah, that freeze feels pretty damn neat. Grab the signature charge. Okay. And there's our green store right away. Wow, these items are so dirt cheap. Let's head back. Grab the supply crate. We always want to leave it at spawn, so it's more easily accessible. The most easily accessible. In fact, I don't think there's any other place where this would be more easily accessible. Cabbies is a freebie. We're grabbing that. Also quite impactful. It was on sale for only 6. That is incredible. Evening Gloves plus the cabbies is a decent combination, but we don't really intend to overuse that. Puffy Parka is impactful regardless of what build we are running, so we're gonna buy it. Another suite, so we're stacking up items already. Let's grab the gloves for the suites. Surefire is very, very good, but that's probably the reason I don't want to buy it right away. No, I'll buy it. I'll invest. These items are becoming increasingly more expensive. I don't think any of these are super worth it. Probably Mirror Shield though, out of those. Healing, no, I don't think any of these are it right now. Maybe Mobius, but I don't really care about my other abilities. So Mobius would make all my non-signature abilities reset whenever I use my signature, which generally speaking is not super impactful, as your signature generally is gonna be your main damage tool. Watch out, there's a Lancer, there's always a Lancer. Shoot. Projectile destruction, hell yeah baby. Same here, projectile destruction is quite useful. Fuck, I shot the ball into the wall. How about the shuriken? Cool. Just play it safe, there's no need to be losing anything right now. I can keep all of these bad boys. This build can scale out of control on the very first shot that you find. Okay, Mirror Shield is down. Probably got hit by the summon there. Alright. Projectile destruction. And a fireball to finish it all off. Okay, Mirror Shield should be coming back up pretty damn soon. Doing a great job dodging here so far. Oh, this room is taking forever. I hate it. Die. Just die, please. Okay, Nox. Cool. Not seeing any reasonable items in here, though. Turtle Shell is a little iffy. I don't like that. I don't like the anchor. I don't like generally lowering my movement speed. I think that's just terrible. It makes the game very bland to play. Ocarina is not very impactful. And Last Burns is not an item that I intend to use. However, I can combine these with the First Burns Gauntlet on this very stage as well. Heart Redness is the only very useful one in here, but only potentially if I can somehow lower my max HP, which is not really possible without taking damage, which I really want to avoid over the entirety of this run. So unfortunately, I don't think I'll be able to pick any of those just now. Maybe the Heart Renders, we'll see. But I don't think that's gonna happen. I highly doubt it. Ooh, trying to dodge all the slimes. Abuse the freeze. Just wait it out. So my cooldowns can come back up. Or take back down, however you want to word it. Okay. Cleave for 6? Absolutely. Hell yeah. Projectile destruction tool with a very narrow projectile for now because it is unenhanced. The enhanced version is much better for destroying things. Wind Slash? Is it worth it though? I mean, I can't lose my basic. Might as well grab it. Oh yeah. Love that final hit, it's so fun. And it's got quite a bit of candy synergy. I think we are pretty much done here. I'll forget about the supply crate in terms of buying Arcana, but I think we'll be fine. It's not exactly the end of the world. Surefire is very risky. I really do not wish to lose it. Which is also kind of the reason that I'm keeping it in my inventory here. As it just grants us so much extra damage, allowing us to much more easily kill enemies. Okay, just checking over and over again. I think I am done here. I could grab more abilities, which are rather overpriced, so I would much prefer not to. Supply crate does not work for Nox, does it? I'm not sure. I wouldn't want to buy any of these either way, so let's just move on. Reshaping castle. Reshaping castle. Oh, that's green. And we get a key for 0. What the hell? I forgot dropping the crate, but we are good to go. Journal of Midas for a lot more money gain. Whimsical Explodium for much easier room clear. No stacking items in here beside the Midas, I'll pick the Midas. Another candy. Mushroom does stack. Yes, it does. With this one for the satchel. Another key for the stack. Okay, let's drop the supply crate for now. This is getting quite netty so far. Let's grab Family Seal for more signature charge gain. I know I forgot using the crate here, but I'm not used to this much shopping freedom. Use the cleaver. Oh. Okay, we can definitely speed things up at this point. Stone, that's another stacking item. So that's definitely going into my collection. Probably getting rid of the Puffy Parker then. I really like evening gloves, as without the gloves, my wind slash is just unbearably slow, which I don't want at all. So let's drop the Parker. And speed things up, we are essentially in the end game here already. This is just crazy good. I don't think I mentioned this earlier, but similarly to the Dragon Projectile Fireball, as the signature can also be redirected while using it, which is fantastic. Actually very useful for that ability, as the hitbox is massive and the damage is very huge. I don't really care about any chests or full clearing here. I have more than enough money. Bye-bye, Dragon Arc. That's a little bit unfortunate, but I was gonna grab a bunch of extra Arcana anyway. Okay, let's shoot around the corner here. Hitbox should be large enough. Get rid of the mirror shields. Oh shit. Oh no, I didn't see that one coming. Can I? Yes, I can destroy it. Cool. Family Seal going bye-bye as well. So good news. Puffy Parker, you're back in. Still not very useful by any means. I'm just looking for more shops here. And more precisely, the exit. Oh yeah, this basic feels fantastic with the gloves. Okay, we get our dash upgrade, which I'm not so sure I actually want. Well, I probably do, let's be honest. Gotta keep in mind that I did drop the supply crate, which I will have to pick back up as well here. Then we can head to Pink Shop again. Let's drop the crate. Okay. Try to do things risk-free. It's already hard enough, isn't it? Bouncing Surge is very nice. I'm gonna get the Air Burst upgrade here, as it is a lot cheaper, and then just grab Bouncing Surge. Slap it in here. I think that's good enough for now. Now we just have to find the exit, don't we? Don't really feel like losing the supply crate still. I think it's to the right here. Let's drop the supply crate for now. Now with the Cosmic Keychain, we now have the option to potentially combine that with the Cursed Key. Not sure they actually combine though. What's it say? 2 out of 3, so we just need the 3rd key, and then probably that final item we might be able to combine with the Cursed Key to immediately become able to head to the final teleport room on any given stage, which in trade will be a lot more difficult. But generally I'd say that's very much worth it. Generating lots of melee here from the Midas item, which is neat. I could trade for 2 abilities, yeah, I'll definitely take that trade. I think that's very useful. Bye-bye Surge. 2 enhanced abilities, absolutely, that's a neat trait. And as predicted, the exit is towards the right side here. And we're gonna be fighting lightning and water. So wind is not gonna be particularly useful, but this one is quite a fun basic to use. I don't think Aqua Arc can be justified at all, but maybe this can. I do like that a lot. But maybe I should also just keep in mind to use standards instead. Not sure, I think I'll just stick with standards for now. So let's grab Seekers, and whatever this is, I'm definitely never gonna be using that. I haven't made great experiences with that one. I don't think that's gonna be too helpful at all. I think, from my experience, generally speaking, it's rather clunky to use and kind of forces you to fuck up on purpose at times. I don't like that a lot. Let's proc the barrels. I'll just use it like I did Dragon Arc. Occasionally for a single shot, also. Oh crap, I keep missing. And bye-bye. Much more money and a pendulum, which doesn't combine with anything, but it grants a lot of chrono reduction. Could be very valuable. Is it more valuable than Whimsical? Absolutely, I'd say, yeah. Surely. Now, who is gonna be dropped next? All the stackables I definitely want to keep, as even the keys can grant you a lot of value when eventually coming across a corrupted, adorable mimic, sorry. For whatever reason, I always mix up the name with something else. Pretty much all of these items are stackable. Surefire is just incredibly powerful, similarly to the family seal that I lost earlier, so I definitely want to keep that. Evening gloves are very fun. I still feel like losing the Parker, even though Roxel's arguably isn't a great effect. Chrono reduction is gonna be effective regardless. Probably more effective than mitigating damage taken or potential damage taken, so let's toss the Parker. I think Parker doesn't really... It isn't really required here. We are quite overpowered this early on. Okay. Let's head to the side of the arena here, not towards the middle, because that would proc the boss fight and drop all the items we would not want vanishing from the face of Earth. So pretty much just that one. All the other ones I don't really care for. I suppose I could also get rid of the Midas item, but I really don't care a lot about gold gains, so I actually kind of wish to lose it. I'm not sure about whether like combined items dissolve entirely. In that case, I should not be combining items. Well, not nearly to the same level that I am currently doing it for. If only individual parts of the combined items vanish, that's great. Okay, let me have my crate. Tidal Blast, that's very nice. Not gonna be super useful in the Frost Dungeon, but still a lot better than the Cleaver. The unenhanced Cleaver, might I add. Okay. We are being TP'd to the pink store. As these keys proc in order, the first one apparently holds priority. And they are probably ordered alphabetically, I would assume, so I'm always gonna land here. Well, that sucks, but oh well, what can you do? Oh, the meteor though, like it's really, really good. Oh damn! What did I drop? What part of the satchel? Did I lose anything at all? I think the satchel just popped. I think it just got discarded, but only the combined item. So, what happened there? Oh my god, that's so broken. What I assume happened there is it counted the satchel as an individual item, regardless of its counterparts. And then, like, sort of discarded the satchel, and in the process it discarded the satchel parts. So whenever a combined item is dropped, nothing at all happens. I'm not affected whatsoever. I just easily fetch back the parts of it and they recombine to the item. That's incredible. If that is how this actually works out, that's absolutely incredible. Incredibly busted. Okay, Aqua Breaker, that's pretty good. Not as good as a lot of other stuff here, as it is a charged projectile and it's of the water type, so it's not going to be effective for the remainder of these dungeons. Just going to use my basic as much as possible. Split up these fireballs. I just really feel like speeding things up. Gonna destroy a bunch of projectiles, abuse the shields. Just abuse everything I got. Projectile destruction and all. Okay. Special snowflake, but no stackables. Don't really care about the bowl. I'm just gonna move on. I could buy a bunch of stuff. I have so much gold, I could definitely keep fishing for better items. You know what? Maybe I will. Just give it a minute. Oh, another trap room. Ain't that lovely? Really want to avoid the AoE, so try to group them up, not split them up like so. That was an accident. Now I got them grouped back up. I think the AoE can only be used when they don't have a shield, so yeah, I should definitely focus on the ones without a shield here. Oh hey Mimic. Bye Mimic. Rest in pieces, or in piss. Let's buy. Let's invest. Just drop something, so we got room. Let's buy the cheap shit first. Still no stackables. Kinda sucks. Dagger would be better under different circumstances. Definitely isn't so good here. So let's keep digging. I'm amazed it's only 37. Come on, you guys. These items are not getting any better. Where do we go next? Where to next? I just want out of here, honestly. I don't care for any of this crap. The exit seems to be on the right-hand side here, so let's try and head there. 666G? Oh, damn, we are edgy today. Just try to crowd control to the best of our ability, or abilities, rather. Die. Exit, please. Oh, come on. Should drop the supply crate again. Kinda keep forgetting about that one. Just a minor detail that could break the bigger picture. Let's just do it. Yep, kill the thief. Perfect. Oh. Pick back up the crate. And then I think we keep purchasing just rock souls and then keep buying and dropping 1 to 1. In that ratio we shouldn't lose any important items. Stiletto did combine with the satchel, same for the coil. Another candy. Okay, a glove. Heart doesn't combine to anything, I don't think. Absorption coil, dirt cheap. Sweet. Captain's ring. Could be a huge damage increase, potentially. Bone mail. Huge defense increase. Another stackable. Vampires, a cookbook. I do like that. I don't think we are very likely to be finding a ton of books here. So Pendulum is going bye-bye. I think Mirror Shield is next because it doesn't stack. Let's just keep investing, shall we? Gyroscope. Bracers. Wolf's Cloak. Combined Mail. Family Seal. Coming in clutch, my friend. I think I'll keep that over the evening gloves. Spell Thieves. A Windbreaker for 0. Limo Sleeve for 37, that's incredible. But I don't intend to use it. Megalodon Tooth. Tiara. Let's get Gaia's. Graduation does stack, but only with a cursed relic, so I don't think it's super worth it. Hey, our first painting part. Finally. Ooh, Curse Eater's equipment. I don't think we can stack that. We can't really afford doing that. I don't think. Think we got about everything, so let's head out of here. What a mere sight to behold. Wonderful. Moving on, though. Swiftly, as per usual. Drop the supply crate. Pretty much drop any and everything that isn't stackable, so we can't waste it even accidentally. Let's head back to spawn. Drop the crate. Probably want to drop stuff like Cookbook as well, and Midas, like literally everything that isn't stackable, even though we will get a benefit from Midas, so we won't drop that. Drop the stone. Probably... I kind of really just feel like finding out, so... Let's drop everything that isn't stackable, except the Midas, and check it out. Sorry, stackable? Correction, I meant stacked already. I should be doing just fine even without this massive amount of signature charge gain. Oh wow. That was a lot of procs. Loads of candy procs. Lots of slimes. Definitely don't want to be hit more than once consecutively. Or maybe I don't care about that kind of stuff, you know? I don't know though, I can't really judge it. Just yet, anyway. We might get to see that in a second here. Wait for them to group up. Then play into these shenanigans. Oh my god, the candies. I love it. Projectile destruction. Ladies and gents, projectile destruction. I don't have to full clear this. I don't have to take any of this from you, gents. Whoops, a daisy do. Alright. The Clothier, absolutely, that's a fantastic upgrade. Doesn't exactly count as damage taken, so I don't have to worry about losing anything there. So, how much do we gain? 5% extra evade chance. Okay, that's not a whole lot, but it's still great. Still very good. And only 2.5% extra crit chance. Again, fine by me. Was it... Did we have 3 in the beginning or 5? I'm not sure. I'm really not sure about the crit chance. I don't really care, I gotta be honest, so... Yeah. Don't really care about that increase either. It's definitely gonna be helpful, that's all I gotta know. Ain't nothing... Oh my god. It just shoved him aside. Ain't nothing else to evaluate here. It kind of feels like playing The Binding of Isaac. Me just being able to restock entire shops worth of items. Leave everything lying around and then come back later to pick it all up. Easily reaching the limit of items able to lie around at a given time. Oh, bye-bye. Almost got hit there, that was pretty close. Okay, I see a lot of non-stackables in here. I do not like that again. Come on, you bad boy. That's not very nice. Let's grab a supply crate. We gotta grab all this stuff. And head back to the shop. You know how it goes. What's the least important item? Probably... Well, I love my signature, but probably Family Seal. To be totally frank. Let's grab Grease Boots. Let's grab this. Let's grab the Fortune Cookie. Let's grab the Chaos Scanner. Drop the Vial. Grab the Seal. Drop it back on the ground. Let's grab the token. Okay, I suppose we'll grab the other token. Ooh, limited edition robe for 43. That is dirt cheap. Let's grab one of these. Let's grab one of these. Okay, 37. It kind of starts to hurt a little bit. 31. 0 goes on sale. And it actually does stack. I didn't know that. Resistance to air-based attacks. Oh, yeah, they do stack. Right here. So it's already technically better than the seal. Another book. Sweet. Okay, do I pick back up the seal, yay or nay? Seal plus rocket is pretty damn nifty. I'll just drop the chain, the crate for now, pick back up the seal, and try and finish the boss fight. The BF. Strike on the second hit here because I got enough coverage. Again here. Yep, that was very easy. Ooh, another stone. We are starting to stack absolutely everything we got. Sweet. 86G? Do I keep investing? I kind of want more sprites. I don't really feel like losing my freezing sprite here. Oh man, we are full. Okay, let's drop the seal, let's drop the sprite, let's buy... Let's just keep buying. Okay, no, Qua's way too expensive. I suppose I'll leave behind the fucking family seal then. Kinda hurts. I need to keep my Midas items. I also really want to keep the journal, so... yeah, let's move on. A little extra gold would go a long way, honestly. I'm only missing 8%, I don't think it's worth to keep exploring for all that. Hello, Freya. Okay, again, head to the side, drop the supply crate, drop the journal, as it won't affect this fight, and then we can effectively reset the countdown without having to take damage. Surefire, I wish to keep sturdy. I would love to keep, so I'll just drop it for now. Other than that, I think I'll keep everything in my inventory for now. Let's go! Let us go for it! Oh. Okay, that's one Arcana less that I'm gonna be using, but fine by me. Just swap back in that. I can't use that, that's a basic. And lightning against lightning wouldn't be very smart, would it? So let's move on. Final dungeon. Man, we have bought so many items over the course of this run. I wish there were a statistic on that. I don't think there is, actually, currently. Could upgrade the cleaver. I don't really give a crap. Drop the box for now. The usual suspects. And the easel, I really want to keep that for Syrah. Okay, now this is where things get a little tricky. We can't just walk right through. But we can try. Okay, I should have just skipped that room entirely. There was definitely no need to try and finish it. Oh my god. Ooh, evasion. Coming in clutch. Ooh, the dash upgrade actually helpful for once. Okay, I know for a fact that there are a bunch of enemies up here. Oh my... My Seeker's actually somehow got across the freaking pit. I've never seen that before. That was super useful. Loved it. Or maybe the wave of ice from them bursting can cross pits. In that case, super helpful. Loved it. Another trap room. Hello. No! Okay, never mind. I literally don't care. I literally do not give a shit about this, as items apparently work in mysterious and illogical ways. Love to see it. That is an incredible synergy. Just stack a bunch of items. I mean, I already knew previously to this adventure that stacking items can be incredibly busted. But usually only once you end up picking up an item that cares about stacks. Stacks matter, something like an adorable mimic, or heavy travel jacket, or whatever the damage equivalent is called. Probably the merchant's card, I believe. Oh shit. Shield. Shield me, bitch. That's neat. Another trap room. What's going on here? And we found our green star. Of course. 2 stackables. Insulated. Whoa. Keep in mind, we need supply crate. And we gotta fetch it back, because for some reason we left it at the ping store instead of heading back to spawn. Starting to get sloppy here, huh? Now I have to all go all the way back to green. Ain't that fun? Stupid mistake, I should have just fixed that earlier. Not even make that in the first place. Grimoire, that's gonna stack with the library. Insulated, that's gonna stack with the other items, whatever the hell they're called. Gummy vitamins. Prevention of poison status effect. Does that stack with anything? I don't think so. Yeah, we're not preventing anything right now. Could take a look at it, but I would be very surprised if that actually turned out to stack with anything at all. Oh, they do actually stack. That is very surprising. Very, very rare stack piece there, I think. I don't think I've ever seen them stacked. Period. Chakra Locket and more tokens. I will grab the token of health, as I might actually get to use that on this stage. That could actually become very useful. Grab the Infinity as it is on discount, and then just move on for now. Try and find Dr. Song, so we can trade the token. I don't want to buy too many items here, because then we accidentally will wind up eventually despawning the token. Don't want to find myself in that situation. Okay, of course there's another annoying room in here. Drop the supply crate. I still can't believe I haven't found, up to this very point, any pieces connected with the supply crate stacks item. It's just so ridiculous. How does that even happen? Another book. Last time I checked, this does actually not stack with the library for some reason. Let me think of the books. So we got Grimoire for extra damage. We got Eunice for extra duration. Vampires for the healing. Then there is the Primer. The yellow one, right? There's the Page. So that's 5. Is there another one that I'm missing? Is there cooldown reduction? Am I missing cooldown reduction? No. Page should be cooldown reduction, right? So this... The Sage's Memoir. Isn't this the 6th? Does it only stack when you got all the other 5 pieces? I believe the last time I got Pop-Up Primer and I get Memoir and they didn't stack, so I am not gonna pick it here. I mean, it would be good though, it would be very good. Increase cooldown for all Summon Arcana. I only have 1 Summon Arcana and it's gonna be quite good, the ice one. But increasing the damage isn't incredibly useful, so I would rather not risk it for the biscuit. Let's keep looking for that crucial exit. I believe it's going to be in the bottom right-hand corner, judging by what I've seen off the map so far. Let's drop the supply crate right here, where we can... Oh, actually, we can keep investing because we didn't get to see Dr. Songs, but we will resume that once we can safely return to the pink shop without having to walk back all the way. Yeah, it is down here, of course. Grab a supply crate. Get back up here and keep buying cheap shite. Also drop vitamins. I don't really feel like despawning either of these. Also drop the Sprite. And then can we please find some good stack pieces? That'd be fantastic. Another stone for 6 on sale. Sweet. Another Sprite. Hell yeah. Okay. So let's stack the Sprites for the bouquet as well. Kinda forgot about that. Drop the Midas or drop the Easel. Surefire is pretty much the only damage tool I got, but it's non-stackable, so maybe I actually want to lose it? think easel is less valuable as it requires for me to be hit, and I can gain a lot more value from the journal here over the remainder of the run. Drop the vitamins as the most recently dropped items, so they won't despawn. I hope that's how it works. Fortune cookie for 0. We are starting to see the same items. I feel like we are just shopping on a rampage here. Sunscreen for prevention, that's gonna stack with the gummy worms. Thesis is a book, though it's not summer related. I highly doubt that actually that it actually stacks with the library, even though it would make a lot of sense thematically. So now we only got stack pieces and a surefire rocket. Might as well grab the easel, even though surefire is just so impactful. I kind of feel like keeping going. I'll just keep going for now. Keep the surefire for the fight, and then retrieve the box pretty soon. The supply crate. Let's do the fight. Okay, that went nowhere at all. I was just hoping for a lucky hit. Get rid of the ranger. Oh yeah, surefire has immediate impact on the general gameplay. I just love it. I wish it stacked with marble, for example, but it doesn't, and since it doesn't, I think it's gotta go. It's an easy choice. Theses, these are a little overpriced. Do I want to invest 37 into another stack, or do I want to wait? I think I'm actually gonna invest, as I want these two to stick. I don't really care much for the easel here. Let's grab the thesis, which, surprise, surprise, it doesn't stack. Grab the token, and soccer clears. Okay, so let's get out of here then. Grab the easel and piss off. So now we pretty much lost our damage, our only damage tool, but I think we'll be fine with all these stacked pieces. How many items do we have? Let's see, 4, and 7, 9, 10, 11, 13, 15, 19, 20, 21, 24, 27 items. Holy shit. That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. No, I won't make the same mistake again. Also, I don't want to work my way back from Pink Shop all the way to wherever. So instead, let's head this route. And we found the TP right away. It can be that simple. I still want to find my green. I don't need to, but I want to. Maybe they have certain items on sale. That'd be fantastic. I'm mainly looking for more stones here and more sprites. I don't really care about the other stack pieces. Keys would have been nice a while back, but now that there's only bosses ahead, the perspective in terms of combining keys isn't great, so I don't really care much for those anymore. No, don't fall, friend. Oh my god, all of them fell. Why would you? Why would you do this to me? Dr. Sung, hello. I could grab an item, but it's likely that you're giving me something that doesn't stack. I'm pretty sure all of your items don't stack with anything, so let's not do that. Wow. I feel very mighty, even though I pretty much am only stacking utility-related items. Feels fantastic. Still need to find my green. I don't care about my pink right now. They may have great offers, but really cannot be bothered. Alright, great freeze. Great evasion. Works fine for me. Cool. I love when there's so many sounds going on that the music just decides to cut out just in case. Okay, this is not where green is it? Oh, no, no, this is clearly not where green is. Slow, get it. Any teleports here? Behind my back, maybe? Ferocity of your burnt status effects. I don't think that stacks with anything, does it? Well, we shall see. Let's grab the crates. And do the duty. You know how it goes by now. It does, in fact, not stack with anything. Another Sprite, though. That's fantastic. Discount it. Love it. And all of these are pretty expensive. 31. Okay, we get another book piece. Library piece, rather. Dark Katana on discount. Nice and cheap. 37. Another stone for 6 on discount. Sweet. Ooh. Heavy travel jacket. How much? 30% armor. That's crazy. I don't think I'll need that. But it is certainly better than the easel at this point. Still haven't found a corresponding Midas or supply crate item. That's just insulting. You know what? I could probably get rid of the Midas item at this point. I don't think I'll really give a shit at this point. I don't think I'll miss it much. Yeah. Boss fight. Fine by me. I'm not afraid to lose anything. Nope, not happening. Okay. Pick back up the crate. 81 is not a whole lot. Let's buy one more. Just keep... Oh shit, I forgot. I didn't equip the crate, so I just wasted 37. Fine by me. Let's move on. Okay, Thunder Twins. Now this is where I'm gonna be hit a lot. When they do actually connect, they certainly hit quite frequently. Gotta keep the crate. Other than that, pretty much everything else can go. I would like keeping the easel, but yeah, I'll just drop it for later potentially. After all the canvas parts are incredibly powerful, and I haven't seen any of them yet. Just statistically, I should be very likely to find some in the near future. Bye-bye. Man, I love abusing bugs. Game-breaking bullshit. I love it. Hammer of Atlas. Great, that can gladly be discarded. I really don't need that. I mean, I could use it here, but am I gonna? Drop this. Drop the easel. Probably drop the jacket as well. Let's be on the safe side of things entirely. Gonna want to not risk a single item here. Even though we are not exactly at risk of losing this. Get that Seeker in here! Shite. Oh my god, so many stones and sprites. The Thief is a little bit annoying, but we got rid of the ads right away. Let's pick back up the items that we dropped earlier. And then invest our 163G into the final store of the run. Oof. Okay, resistance. I'll take it. It does stag after all. Very expensive shop still. I'm not liking this too much. Finally! Relic rewards card, so now everything costs a lot less. Okay, and we don't actually wind up finding a cool combo at the end. Not even a painting part, that's kind of saddening. Oh well, what can you do? 32% armor. Should be enough. I think let's go. Let's shoot for the stars. I would love the Atlas here as well, the Hammer of Atlas. It's pretty okay DPS against the first phase, but I don't think I really give a shit, to be honest. Well, good for his damage when you got a million stones and sprites anyway. Okay, maybe I do want it. Oh well. Not the jacket first, you bastard. No, stop taking the actual important stuff. Okay, thank you. Ooh, that looked odd. Lots of stuff breaking and being picked back up. GG. I think we still got exactly 30 items here at the very end. Let me check. 1, 5, 7, 10, 14, 18, 22, 24, 28, 30. 30 items, indeed. And more than enough enhanced abilities. That was fantastic. Definitely an interesting build. That took a whole lot longer than I expected initially, but we didn't really get an overpowered build, just stacked a bunch of crap. Probably could have gotten a much more overpowered build with all these signature items and the Lemur sleeve and Kasim's limited edition herb and whatnot we dropped earlier in the run, but let's be fair, stacking a bunch of sprites and a bunch of stones, is there anything much more fun than that? I don't think so. And all these books as well. I'm kind of lucky I got a summon in the first place. Didn't really pay much attention to that whatsoever. I just stacked for the sake of stacking, really. But it's always fun watching a bunch of shiny shit go off near your character without you really having to do anything about anything. It's great. I love it. It's fantastic. Definitely can be optimized. First and foremost, you really don't have to start things off with the regular tutorial build. It's really not that impactful after all. I'm kind of surprised to myself that I could, or that I did in the end actually end up keeping Wind Slash and Airburst. I'm glad the Dragon Arc got tossed out of the window as early on as possible. I definitely wouldn't have pursued using that whatsoever, but Airburst turned out to be rather useful at times actually, and Wind Slash, I told you, when enhanced, it can actually be quite fun. It's not nearly as good as a lightning bolt, a railbow, pardon, or a, what's the other one we found early on? Aqua Arc, I believe, right? But it certainly gets the job done. Kind of sad that we did lose the Evening Gloves, or that we had to drop them of the course of this run. Definitely would have made this a lot more usable towards the end there, as it felt quite sluggish using this. Even with all these candies, look at that. Look at that proc rate, dude. Holy crap. Procking at least one candy pretty much every single use. That's fantastic. I love it. How many candies did we have in the end there? 4 stones and only... Sorry, that's not candies, that's sprites. Where are the candies again? What's it look like? Right here, right? That's the candy box. 4 out of 5. Holy crap. We were missing, we got the cotton candy, the hot chocolate and sweets. We were missing the water one, whatever the hell that one's called. I forgot. Anywho, I hope you enjoyed today's run nearly as much as I did. That was very fun, otherwise I wouldn't have spent nearly as much time figuring out how to stack the maximum amount of items possible. What a blast. Let's just drop everything on the floor and watch all of it disappear. Oh yeah. Holy shit, that was a lot of items. Alright, anyway, you know how it goes. I wish you all a good morning, a good day, or a good night, wherever you are. And until next time, bye bye.